Anticipation rising, excitement elevating. We're on the cusp of a new Premier League season. But how will Aston Villa finish? Well, I'm about to ask some of the Holy Trinity Show's most dedicated viewers from around the world that precise question. Presented by family-founded, Birmingham-based, and vehemently Villa 24/7 services, it's our Viewer Predictions Show. So nice to have you inside the parlor, and I managed to curate a group of die-hard Holy Trinity Show viewers from around the world. Some volunteered, some were voluntold, and now we're going to get some predictions. And to call this meeting to order, the chairman of this committee, 84-year Aston Villa fan, he was there in Rotterdam, Mr. Ron Handsaker.
Good afternoon, Europe. Good morning, Canada, and your noisy neighbour. Welcome to our pre-season discussion on Aston Villa Football Club. Introductions. This is Mike. My name is Ron Handsaker. I'm chairman of 24/7 Services and a sponsor of this program.
Let's start with what you're excited about, Ron.
I'm excited about the last season's team because I think they're capable of doing moderately well. I'm disappointed that we've had no more signings, which gives us a bit of a problem compared to the other top sides in the league.
Indulge me a little bit on the nostalgia front. There you are in Rotterdam, 1982. There was a false final whistle. I think everybody thought it came early, and then the final whistle sounded. Who did you embrace?
My wife, because she was with me. My two sons, because they were with me, and we just danced and jumped in the air, and it took a lot to come down. So we had an absolutely fantastic experience. One of the funny stories was we sat in a park prior to the game, and we went over to the supermarket and bought some beer. And when we got to the ground, me being a bald head, I was able to wear a cap and get away with it. So I hid some beer underneath the cap. So a very big policeman with a Sten gun looked at me and said, "Take off the cap." So I said, "No, it's my hair." "Take off the cap," which I did. I lost my beer. So that was the start of the game. But happy days, great memories.
Here we go. Give us your prediction for the coming season.
7th.
I was hoping for much better than 7th, but Ron, as always, it's great to see you, and thank you very much for joining the show.
Pleasure.
Gavin Hall is in Singapore, where I believe it's just shortly after 2 in the morning. How you doing, Gavin?
Thank you for this honor, and it's lovely to meet all of you. And I see names I've seen on your podcast for years. They're almost like rock stars to me. I see Alex Dutton there, Samir, Gavin, and yeah, thank you. Lots of love and and greetings from here in Singapore.
What are you excited about for the coming season?
We are now in the European competition, the Europa League, with a real chance to, I think, win it. And winning it probably gives us an even bigger prize, which is obviously the Champions League for the following season. But in my heart of hearts, I knew that we always would be aiming to just go as far as we possibly could. And I think we did. We did ourselves more than proud last year. And I think with the experience that we've had through the Conference League and then the Champions League, I think, we've given ourselves a really good chance.
Gavin, what are you concerned about as we head into the new campaign?
My concern is actually losing our most prized asset. And instead of a player, I'm actually going to say, it's our dear manager, Unai Emery. Everyone knows how much he's loved, and everyone knows how much he and, with the rest of his backroom staff have transformed the Villa and transformed the team. I just feel that there always seems to be a cloud hanging over our heads with, unfortunately, PSR, SCR, and all these rumors about having to sell our best players. This man keeps working miracles season after season. And I often worry, how far can he take it with the limits that, which are beyond his control. And, along comes a bigger club with a bigger budget and a bigger revenue, offers him an opportunity. And I just fear losing our greatest asset. So that's actually my greatest fear about the club.
Gavin, where is Aston Villa finishing in the upcoming campaign?
My heart says 5th. but my head says in a European place.
Go to sleep, Gavin. Thank you so much for staying up.
It's my pleasure, and my pleasure meeting all of you. Thank you.
Paul Zelaskowski in the North Devon Bureau of the Holy Trinity Show. Welcome, and I appreciate you being here. A lot going on in your life, so let's get right into it.
Concerns, injuries. I noticed Rodgers was missing from the last game. I wouldn't like to see him go, away for too long. I've got a lot of optimism, actually. I like the way everybody seems to want to stay here. I mean, my take on watching the friendly, especially last night's one, everyone was so keen to get on that pitch and so keen to sort of show what they can do. And I noticed even Bailey was like running back. I think Bailey's learned a lesson from watching Rodgers going up and down the line, basically, which is all he did, on the last few games of last season. And maybe he's, maybe the penny's dropped for him, and he, you can tell that he really wants to stay. Whether he does or not, I don't know. But I just think we got a good squad. I really do. I think it's a gelling squad. It seems a very close squad. And I think it could be an improving squad. I love the way Watkins is playing at the moment. He looks absolutely brilliant. And also Buendia. I mean, he's been an absolute... he's like having a new signing, You say we have no signings. We've got Emi Buendia. He's a new signing for us. We need to treat him like that, and he looks great. So, no, I think there's a lot to be positive about.
I'm dying to hear where you think we're finishing, Paul.
My heart says I'd like to see us finish second. I think we're going to do a lot better than people think. I really do. And it sort of hard reminds me, because I was there back in... when we won the league in 1981, there's something about this squad now which I like. I think it's, I feel more positive this year than I have for many a year. Thanks for having me on early. It's very good of you.
No problem. Cheers. Off we go now to the Dubai Bureau of the Holy Trinity Show, where Tony Hannon is standing by. Tony?
Good to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be part of what we're doing.
What are the things that excite you about the coming Villa campaign?
The one overriding feeling of an Aston Villa fan that is constant as the Northern Star, which is trepidation, nervousness, worry, and we often don't allow ourselves to feel anything different. This is the best I've felt about the overall trajectory of the club in a very, very, very long time. So I might even be foolish and say something optimistic and positive.
Where, Tony, is Aston Villa going to wind up in the table?
Between 7 and 9. We look at Spurs and Man United are going to do much better than they did last season. But I can't see the evidence that we have for Newcastle doing as well and Bournemouth doing as well. They'll drop an awful lot of points, as will Forest and Palace when they're in European competition. So I think that evens itself out when we worry about the league getting stronger. If a couple of players do much better than they have, if people start delivering on their potential, we could be knocking on the door of 5th. I would be more than happy with 6th to 9th if we are genuinely credible for a Europa League win. That, to me, would be the most satisfactory route to a Champions League position the following season.
I'm going to get a bonus from you, Tony. What's the score on Saturday against Newcastle?
2-0 at home. As much as I love the city of Newcastle and the people, I'm very happy for them to struggle, certainly when they're playing against us.
Tony, go to sleep. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. God bless. Good luck to everyone.
We go back to a golf course now somewhere near the royal town of Sutton Coldfield, where we join the newest member of the 24/7 Services crew. He's a sales consultant and a huge Aston Villa fan, and one of the original Holy Trinity Show subscribers. I'm talking about Mick, who has the greatest name in the history of at least this show.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to speak to a legend. Why are you, Rob?
Very well, thank you.
There he is. He's sitting right next to you.
He knows his place.
I am curious now in your new role, because most of the crew is, if I'm not mistaken, hardcore Villa. Am I correct about this?
Yeah.
So you go to a home. You're going to refurbish this kitchen into something spectacular, as your crew always does. And you start to look around and notice blues paraphernalia.
I leave. I'm out the door.
I appreciate the fact that we're going to be working together and meeting more of the crew and seeing some of the great work that gets done behind the scenes. And I'm very grateful that 24/7 Services is sponsoring the show again this year. On to the Villa matters.
My biggest concern was losing players. Now you think about it, we haven't lost any of the players that we were supposed to lose. So we've got the same squad as last year. We've improved with a couple of more players. I'm like the other fella, I'm quietly confident. I think we'll do okay. They are gelling at the right time. The way we're playing some of the football is really, really good and exciting. So I'm looking forward to Unai this time will get us a trophy.
I know you have the legend sitting next to you, and he's made his prediction. Where are we going, Mick? Where are we finishing?
To go in the Europa League is a good thing for us. I think we can win that. Where the Champions League last year, I think we were just a bit out of our depth. But we had some cracking games, some cracking nights. But I think this time we'll either get fourth or we'll win the Europa League.
Mick, Ron, great chatting with you.
Thank you, Peter.
Look forward to it, mate.
Up the Villa.
Up the mighty Villa, gents, as we head over to Norway. I'm going to butcher your name again.
My name is Tore.
Tore.
Oh, so perfect. And I'm going to England, to Newcastle. We are 30 fans from Norway going. So we're going to cheer loud and yes, up the Villa.
What's the score in that game? Let's start there.
I go for a 2-1 victory to Villa.
I'll take it. What about you on the optimism scale?
I think it's fantastic. Aston Villa playing 3 seasons in a row in Europe. And for me, that have followed this club for so many years, and now we have participated in all 3 competitions of the Europe competition. It's fantastic for me and for all the fans. So I can't underline it enough. It's fantastic to be there. And the Europe League, watch out for Villa. I think we can do big things there.
So where do you see Aston Villa finishing in the table?
I have guessed that Villa should end up in 5th place. But I think it will be very close with Newcastle. So that's why this first game in Saturday is very, very extra important to watch, because I think Newcastle maybe will be our hardest opponent for this top 5th place. And of course, Crystal Palace beating Liverpool in the Charity Shield. They might also be a dark horse coming up there. So, but if you look further down, there are not so many teams that could go up to 5th. If we can take a 5th place, we need our best players all season and no long-time injuries. And I think this 12 hours buying of Gazan is very, very good and exactly what we needed, because we have to have a focal point on top in addition to Watkins. I think Malen and Bondia is not that kind of players. We need a strong guy like Gazan looks like. So that was for me. It was like Ron Saunders said, the final pig in the jigsaw, wasn't it?
Very, very jealous that you get to go to the opener with the other Norwegian Lions. You say thank you in Norwegian. Is it takk?
Takk, tusen takk. Up the Villa forever.
Off we go now to Lichfield. It looks like he's actually sitting in front of Villa Park. But James Byrne is here, another of our original Holy Trinity Show long-term subscribers. James, how are things in lovely Lichfield?
Very good, thanks, Pete. Looking forward to Saturday. I'll tender for 10 years now. So I got in there when the upper tier was closed of the Trinity, so there was no issues getting tickets back then.
How optimistic might you be this year?
I'm pretty optimistic. I think Forest are going to struggle with the Europe commitments. I think Newcastle will also struggle with the European commitments, getting picked apart. So that's 2 competitors out of the way. So that leaves an open road for us to get those Champions League spots.
How do you think we'll do in the Europa League?
We've got the GOAT, so I think we'll do pretty good. I'd be very disappointed if we didn't get anything around about semi-finals or beyond.
Are you happy that we've been stable and that we are extending contracts and probably even lowering them, or did you expect more activity?
I expected more activity, but I think as some people touched on, the most important thing was keeping the core squad together. It seems like we've successfully done that. And yeah, any additions to that, a little bit of depth would be a great addition. Also, I think we're going to see gears from Rogers, Maatsen and potentially Garcia as well. So I think those guys have got extra levels to go to, which I'm excited to see.
I also realize, James, that you have been a loyal 24/7 services customer as well, and we were lucky enough to see some of the work done at your home, and you must be over the moon. I was so jealous, herringbone floors, and is that where you watch the Villa?
The away games that are on Sky or Beta, yeah, that's my parlour when we're playing away.
Your prognostication for the coming season?
Sure, so heart's saying 4th, head is saying 6.
Up the mighty Villa, and enjoy yourself on Saturday.
Up the Villa.
We are heading to Cape Coral, Florida, as Richard Davies, who I owe an awful lot to, because Richard at Midland Honda in Midland, Ontario, was actually the guy who helped sponsor my first trip over in 2023. I think I know what you're going to say, Rich, when it comes down to the things that you're concerned about.
Yeah, how are you, Pete? It's great to hear from all the guys. Lots of history there with Villa supporters. It's amazing to listen to that. I love the Villa. I've been a Villa fan since '78. I would think going into this season, my biggest concern is going to be probably defense. I think the right back, I'm concerned. I like Ash. I think he's a good player. I have some concerns in the right wing. I like the fact that we brought the Frenchman in. I don't think he's a number 9 or number 10. I think he's proper on the right wing. That would be lovely to see him out there. And I've got a good feeling for the season. I'm going to be an optimist. I like the fact that you said it too. Probably not a lot of changes is a good thing for the Villa. But I think we've got some good chance to go far in a lot of the competitions. I'd love us to do well in the FA Cup. I know no one's talking about that, but man, wouldn't that be nice to win that cup, Pete? In my head, I'm thinking number 5. I think we're in 5th place. I think we're going to be a surprise only because we're not in Champions League. I think we'll have lots of opportunity to play and win a lot of games, and I think we're going to give a lot of teams a hard time. Newcastle will struggle going in the Champions League. I think Forest is going to struggle a little bit. I don't know. My gut's telling me 5th place.
I thought for sure you were going to complain about PSR.
It's a closed shop, Pete, and that's coming from a Canadian that lives in the leagues that we don't see that as much, do we? If you got the money, you can buy the players and you can buy the team, right? So my gut's telling me the PSR will be a challenge. I just love Emery so much and the management team around him. I think we'll just win more games than we're going to lose, and that'll get us high up the pecking order. Will we be in the top 4? I don't think so. I just don't think we have the team. We don't have the depth. We got some good players. We just don't have the depth, Pete.
Rich, it's always great seeing your face and hearing your voice. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. Up the mighty Villa, pal.
Yeah, up the Villa, Pete. Take care, buddy.
Tony Carter is here. Tony, are you allowed to tell us that you have some involvement in the security of these players?
I don't mind, Pete. Thanks for having me on the show. Yes, I do work for the club, and I'll do a bit of security there on the match day for the players and their families.
Do you ever have interactions with the players?
I have a lot of interactions with the players. On a match day, I get phone calls telling me when they're going to arrive so I can save their car parking spaces for them on a match day, and families and so forth. And I leave spaces on that massive village car park for specific players and their families.
You know, it sounds like we have a team of gentlemen and really dedicated pros, but is there somebody that stands out in your interactions?
You might not believe this, but a lot of them, they're all down to earth, really all down to earth people. When they arrive on a match day, they speak to everybody. They don't leave the fans out, as you probably can tell. So yeah, I think all of them are really down to earth. So to say hello to me, so I'm happy with that.
And what about your level of optimism? Tony, what are you excited about? Are there concerns?
The only concerns with me would probably be similar to what everybody else is saying. It's probably the squad depth or injuries and suspensions. In my opinion, I think we do need someone there on the left. We've still got a bit of time before the window closes, so he may decide to go in the market and get a loan.
What about a table finish, Tony?
Some of what the other guys were saying regarding like Newcastle, Manchester United, Spurs and stuff like that. Yeah, I do think a lot of those clubs are not in a better place than we are at this moment in time. And plus we've got a better manager than they do. So yeah, I think 5th is totally achievable.
And when you walk out your front door, how long would it take you to walk to Villa Park?
3 minutes.
Tony, what a delight to have you on. I really appreciate you joining us, and thank you for doing what you do and for also being a fervent away supporter too.
Cheers for having me on.
Off we go now to the Holy Trinity Show's Dublin Bureau and Irish correspondent Ronald Bride.
How we doing? Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, Pete.
Another country that has a lot of Aston Villa fans, like Norway.
Yeah.
Is it Paul McGrath?
Half the Irish team played for Aston Villa in the early 90s. So, I mean, when I was a kid and I was getting into football, there was Steve Staunton, Ray Houghton, Andy Townsend, Paul McGrath, obviously. Tony Cascarino in the early 90s as well, but we don't talk about Tony Cascarino because he wasn't so good.
I guess the biggest question is, how happy are you that Guinness is a partner now with Aston Villa?
Everyone's gone mad about this Guinness on the front of the jerseys. Like, bring back the Pale Ale in Villa Park. That's what I want. There's nothing tops that Villa Pale Ale. That was the best, I think.
You know, people complain about lineups for beer. It's a notoriously slowly poured pint.
You know how hard it is getting served at Villa Park? Imagine with Guinness as well. Exactly. The points are going to be terrible in Villa Park. You're going to have to cut this part. They're going to be rank. I know they are.
How about the season? That's all that matters. How are you feeling going into the new campaign?
Quietly optimistic, because we've a settled squad and everyone's being left alone. And we can really see how hungry the players are. I mean, they really are. Looking at I watched the Marseille match last night. Like, they were really, I mean, we can see that we all know what Mings did, but they're really fighting for each other. And I was looking at the likes of Bailey on the last day. He didn't look too happy about leaving. Obviously, I suspect he thought he was going, and then he's had his problems during the summer as well. And I think he could really kick on here. And we've a couple of young kids coming through now. Hemmings looks excellent. Aloba I've been very impressed with as well. The squad has not been disrupted an awful lot, and we've kept a lot of the key players. So that, for me, gives me hope. And we are just under the radar again now, the way we used to be. Look at the facial hair on Yuri Tielemans, by the way.
It's so funny that you bring that up, the facial hair, because he looks like he is ready to take that next step as a leader.
That's the vibe I'm getting from him, yeah. And there's a lot of players like that as well. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it at the moment. I don't know what else to say. Good feeling, that's all it is.
Where are we ending up?
6th and win the Europa League.
Ronald, thank you so much for joining us.
Slán.
We are now joined by Alan Crampton, who has also been a major supporter of the Holy Trinity Show and who is sitting in his new man cave. It looks fantastic. Alan, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Pete, and excited for the season. And it's absolutely delightful to be on your show tonight. Thank you for asking me.
Oh, it's a no-brainer, Alan. It was one of the great visits. My big question is, when does the Subbuteo Villa Park move into your new man cave?
The last part of my project, I've just got the last part of my bar to build now. It's already fully stocked. Although that's been dwindling a bit over the last few days. And then the Villa Park will be going in then. So hopefully within the next 2 or 3 weeks, the whole thing will be finished.
I used to think that I had the greatest Subbuteo Villa Park on the planet. And then Alan came along and said, hold my beer. You're always optimistic, but what about this year?
I'm very optimistic, to be fair. I think there's a trophy on the table for us this year. Hopefully it's the Europa League because that gives us the Champions League entry next season. But I just think that it's FA Cup, League Cup. I think the title is a little bit out of our reach, but I think we're going to have a really good season this year. I'm very optimistic.
Is there an ingredient, Alan, that we're still missing as the window closes shut on September 1st?
I think somebody else mentioned, I think that I'd like to see another right back. And, nothing against Cash, but I don't think he can improve any further. And I think we need that little bit more. I'd love to see an old John Gidman style or Kenny Swain, that type of guy. But I think we'll be okay, even if we don't get it. But PSR has been difficult for us. But, I'm quite confident with what we've got, to be fair. I think there's a lot of guys going to step up and be even better than they were last year. I think we got Hemmings as well. He's looked very good in pre-season. It'd be excited to see him coming through. And I think Marlon, not many people have mentioned Marlon. I think he's going to be really hungry this year. And not so much maybe on the right, but maybe more through the centre.
So most people have said 5th place, give or take, Alan?
I think 3rd or 4th is very realistic for us.
Oh.
So, like I say, I'm very optimistic. I just feel something in my water.
Oh, I can't wait, and I hope you're right, and I can't wait to be in your man cave, in your parlor. Thanks so much,
Looking forward to it.
Alex Dutton is here, very tired. He's our senior video correspondent at Villa Park and was at
Bloodstock Festival in Derbyshire. Really tame, which you can tell by the name.
So you're running on fumes a little bit now. And
Pretty
tell
much.
us about Atarka a little bit. Where can people see them? I heard you put new music out in the spring. Is that correct?
We're currently in the writing process. We're in the studio September for another 2 tracks. We've got a little bit of a delay because obviously, it's not our full-time jobs. It's very busy to get everyone together. But yeah, we're always kind of doing gigs around the UK. It's heavy, it's aggressive, but obviously it's not everyone's cup of tea. But if it is, you can check us out on all the socials.
You were also at Ozzy's and Black Sabbath's final show. What was that experience like to see that at Villa Park?
It was incredible. Growing up as a metal fan and a guitarist, Ozzy's music and Black Sabbath and metal in general was a huge part of my childhood alongside Villa. And to see them is one thing, but they were surrounded by all of the bands that I'd listened to growing up and kind of shaped into what I do now. I'm a music teacher. Without these bands, I wouldn't do it. And to just be part of that at Villa Park as well, it was just kind of written in the stars. And I was lucky enough to get tickets with my partner, and it was a surreal experience. And so sad that we lost him so soon after. But in true Aussie fashion, he did what he said he was going to do. He's going to do one last show, and boy, did he.
Beautifully put. How about the Villa, Alex? Optimism meter, where is it?
If you'd have asked me that against Tottenham Hotspur on the last game of the season with Emi Martinez crying, I was less optimistic. But we've kept our squad. I thought for definite that Emi would have gone. I thought that maybe teams would be in for Watkins, was the Arsenal rumour, never seems to go away. And obviously Man United are entitled to all of our players apparently as well. We've done really well to keep everybody. And that was the main thing, especially with Rodgers as well. I think he can go even that step above now, which, he's just had an incredible kind of rise through at such a young age as well. Buendia as well in pre-season looks hungry. He wants it. And I think together they're going to be really creative for us.
Final table position, Alex.
I'm going to go 6th. My heart says top 4. But yeah, I think as much as we kind of enjoyed the likes of Spurs and Man United and Chelsea not necessarily doing very well in the league, I don't think that's going to happen a second time. And that would be my worry, to be honest, if I was going to have one. I think Chelsea, Man United and Spurs will kind of congest those European places, especially with Spurs with the Frank appointment. Man United, as much as, like I say, we enjoy kind of their table position last year, I just think that inevitably they're going to rise back to those European places. So I think it's going to be very difficult, but I think also why not win the Europa League? We've got the guy that's done it several times. It's the best chance that we've got, especially with this squad that, as I say, look hungry. So yeah, I'd say 6th, but why not get Champions League through winning a trophy finally?
Brilliant, Alex. Can't wait to talk to you. Thanks for doing this as always.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, guys.
Our Appleton, Wisconsin correspondent, Charlie Monday. How did you become a Villa fan, Charlie?
Funny enough, I was watching the 2018 championship playoff final between Fulham and Villa. And there's something about lovable losers. I decided I was going to pick the club that lost, and I wanted to root for a team in the championship and watch them progress, hopefully. And thankfully, that very next season, I decided I was going to follow Villa, and it was love at sight. And was thankful enough that it was promotion and then the Great Escape staying up the next year. So yeah, it's been quite the ride ever since I became a fan.
I was in a fetal position for a week after that final. And of course, we nearly lost the club, for heaven's sakes. Apart from that, I mean, you picked a really interesting time to join. How are you feeling heading into the new season, Charlie?
I am extremely optimistic. I think there is a level of comfort and continuity that we'll have within Unai's system now that we can really benefit. I think it's year 3 now with Unai. And I think that's really going to play to our advantage, where players are going to start having that mental map in their head of they're going to know where other people are and they're going to have eyes in the back of their head. And I think that continuity is really going to come out and play to our advantage. So I am very excited, very optimistic about the season upcoming.
Where do you think we're finishing this year?
I got us in 3rd this year. Looking around at the rest of the league, I think you have to respect Liverpool, reigning champions, and they just had a great summer transfer window, so you have to respect that strength. But beyond that, no one really puts the fear of God in me. Man City, big club, Arsenal, obviously. I look around, I don't see any reason why we can't do better than those teams. I'm not scared of anyone. And that congestion that was talked about with Tottenham and Man U coming back towards the European spots, really not too worried about that. I think they have a lot more groundwork to do before we have to worry about them coming back to a top 6 spot. So, yeah, I got Liverpool above us, and then it's anyone's pick. So I got us in third. And also, Pete, well, I got you. Yeah. I just want to say thank you for everything that you do for Villa. Your podcast is the highlight of my week, and I can't thank you enough.
What a lovely thing to say, Charlie. Thanks for coming on the show.
Cheers, Pete.
All right, buddy. From our Worcester office, Ivan McDowell is here. How have you enjoyed the build-up to the season, Ivan?
Pete, really, enjoyed pre-season. Been lucky enough to go to the Walsall and Roma games, so got a bit of an insight into kind of how things are shaping up, and yeah, really excited for the season ahead.
What did you notice from the Roma game, especially that first half?
I thought we were exceptional in the first half. I think one of the key things it underlined to me, Pete, was Ollie Watkins' importance, actually, because he was exceptional in that first half, running those channels, holding the ball up, and a lot of the guys have made some really interesting comments tonight around who might play if he doesn't play and so on. I just think we do not have an alternative in that sense, and I love Malin, and I think West Ham will be a great addition, but what Ollie offers just up top in Emery's system is just, that's what Roma said to me, is like, we just need to keep him there for 50 games and we'll probably be okay.
Where are we finishing, Ivan?
Wow, yeah. I mean, I love Charlie's vibe there about the optimism. And I think actually one thing he said, Pete, was around that continuity, which I think is interesting. So I think we'll kind of really gain something through a bit of adversity. I think like some of the stuff coming out of the club, like John McGinn has said about, his view on the PSR rules and players coming back with a point to prove. I just think we really will be competitive. I'm going to go 6th, but perhaps if you asked me at several points throughout the season, depending on where we are in the Europa League, cup competitions, etc., that might change. But we will 100% be competitive again. I have no concerns about that, Pete.
Is there a position of need? I mean, I know the obvious answer, but do you have an alternative to that?
I actually think, I think Unai Emery really loves Matty Cash, but I think it's just his injury record as much as anything. So, if he's going to drop out for a couple of games, does he trust Garcia, who obviously is also injured? Tristan Rowe has done really great in pre-season, but I would expect to probably go out on loan somewhere and learn that trade. So I think right back is probably that. But I think, again, as you and the other guys have said, Pete, part of this is about hanging on to the key players that we need to hang on to, and that going back to that idea of continuity. I haven't always been Emi Buendia's best supporter, if I'm honest, but you know what? He's a tenacious guy with a point to prove, and he wants to clearly show Unai Emery that he can contribute on a weekly basis to Aston Villa Football Club, and what a great asset that is to have.
I'm with you on that because I'm still on the fence. I'm still a doubter. I don't want false dawns, Ivan. Thank you so much for watching the show. Jealous of you. Have a great time on Saturday.
Love the Villa.
Our senior video correspondent in Leeds to wrap things up on the show today, and that is Samir Gaby. Samir, thank you for waiting. I know you've been sitting patiently along. You're always optimistic.
I'll be quite realistic about it. So I've listened to everyone give their viewpoints, and if you look back over the years, we'd finished mid-table. If I was to say to you now that my prediction to finish at the end of the season is 10th, you'll all laugh at me, right? You're like, why 10th? What I'm trying to say is look how we have progressed as a team and a club. We're all saying 5th, 4th, 3rd. We should go there and go for more. We've got a fantastic manager, got a fantastic team. I know we haven't been busy in the transfer market. We've got some youngsters that were on display. Hemming, Rowe, Alaba. Will they go out on loan? I'm not sure whether they'll be still part of the squad. A repaired Buendia. We've got a Mascara. We've got Ross Barkley somewhere floating around. But we've got a team and a squad that's played pretty much last season in Champions League. The cohesion's there, the understanding is there, the relationships are there. There are a lot of things that we could take into consideration on how successful this season could be. So I am optimistic. I am realistic as well. Manchester United, Tottenham, they're looking over their shoulder at us. So are Newcastle. You know, we're in there. We're not sort of, oh, we took your spot for one season, here you go, have it back. We're fighting to keep it. So it's great to be in this position. We have suffered for over a decade with Randy Lerner leaving us the way he did. And now we can talk about preseason predictions, and we're all talking about 5th, 4th, 6th. And that for me is a reality check. So anything above 6, please.
I can't help but feel that a group that is together and that is really strong together are not going to want to right some of those moments this coming year.
Even if you look at some of the other teams who have competed in Champions League competitions, defeat back-to-back PSG, what did it take them, 10 years? But they were there. They were in the experience. They were taking the journey, and that journey ended up with fruitful results. So we need to learn from this and say, do you know what? Yeah, we've had a journey. It's been great for the last. Unai coming into our club has just changed everything. It's just the start. We've got to be patient. We don't have to be too patient, but it's happening so quick. 3 different European competitions. We should have been Conference League, Europa League, then Champions League. We leapfrog. Now we double frogging back again, and then we're on our way again. So do you know what? This is what we need. Keep this going. Keep this momentum going. Enjoy. We're at Villa Park. We're at some of the away games. Some of the guys watching it on TVs across the world. Just enjoy it, because we've not had this for a long time, and it's just getting better and better. Yeah.
And your role is getting better and better this year. You're going to be there on Saturday at Newcastle, but now as kind of like our roving villain, like Samir's Speaker's Corner. Where can they find you on Saturday, Samir?
Is that what this is? Is that what you said?
That's what it is. There it is.
Okay, I was wondering where to stick it. Behind the McGregor statue, you'll see the executive, I think the director's executive doors by the Trinity Road entrance behind the McGregor statue. I tend to hang about there. Where's Alan? Alan normally meets me there sometimes. And Tony, I always see Tony as well. Tony's a great guy, yeah. Sort of pretty much works around where the Villa players are. But that's where I'll be, behind the McGregor statue. If you want to come and have a chat and you want to sort of put your views out to the Holy Trinity Show, get in front of the mic, that's where you'll find me, okay?
Samir, as always, it's great to see you, great to hear from you. Thanks for everything you do.
Welcome.
I'm so grateful to all of our participants, and now we officially have to look forward to Newcastle, which is a notoriously difficult fixture to predict, partially because we are almost, and I mean this seriously, the same football club. I mean, big, traditional clubs outside of London, Manchester, and Liverpool, deep-pocketed owners, ambition, similar financial constraints, great followings, and by the way, we finished with the exact same point total last year, separated by 14 goals. I've never had a qualm with Geordies or Magpies, partially because it's like looking in the mirror, and that's why this game feels so significant. One thing I think actually benefits Villa is the proximity of this game to the one we won 4-1 last year, because a lot of the players are still here. They'll have lots of confidence. Ollie Watkins scoring early. In the end, we cruise to victory. I mean, this game could be decided on Newcastle's frame of mind heading into it, because it's been a really weird summer for them with the whole Isak situation. Callum Wilson has left. Anthony Gordon was a minor doubt, and he'd be the most likely to play up front. But that midfield 3 is what it's all about for them, and we have to match that somehow. Now, they did apparently manage to get Malik Chow, central defender, across the line, and he could be ready in time for the game Saturday. So how will Villa line up on Saturday? I mean, that's the million-dollar question, and every time I try to predict this, I get it woefully wrong. I mean, there's 2 names that are going to be guaranteed, Watkins and Bizot. After that, though, this is what I think will happen, only because we need to be conscious of matching up with their midfield. But there are going to be some very good players starting in the dugout on Saturday. I simply cannot see Aston Villa throwing up a stinker on Saturday, given how monumental and tone-setting this game will be, of course, it being at home. And with that, look for Samir and the Holy Trinity Show microphone outside the McGregor statue. Enjoy a new chapter, a new season, the Aston Villa 2025-2026 campaign, and of course, up the mighty Villa.